Yuri Levchenko is the leader of the People's Power Party and a former Ukrainian parliament member. He joins us now live from Kiev. Yuri, I know you were born in Vinnytsia, which has been heavily bombarded during this war, and also you gave up your Russian citizenship that you had through your parents. So you have the history there with Russia and with Ukraine. What are your thoughts now as you look at the situation as it stands?
Well, thankfully, my only history with Russia it was a pure formality as a result of the breakup of the Soviet Union when my father temporarily had the Russian citizenship. I have no connection with Russia apart from that. And since 2008, when I got rid of my then Russian citizenship, I no longer have any connection whatsoever. And that's good because Russia is basically a terrorist country. It's a country which is conducting a genocide against our people, the Ukrainian people, and I think that any honest person, any person with a conscience, does not want to have any connection with the Russian state whatsoever currently. And this is, by the way, this also applies to many Russians who are currently leaving the Russian Federation due to their disagreement with Putin's policies and the policies of the Kremlin's government. Because the situation is quite obvious. Russia is waging an absolutely brutal, illegal, terrible war of destruction upon Ukraine and Ukrainian people, attempting to subjugate the Ukrainian nation and the Ukrainian state. And this can in no way be acceptable to any sane person.
Now, back when Ukrainian politics were normal and lively, you were a critic at times of President Volodymyr Zelensky. Has your view changed as you see him lead the country through this devastating war?
Well, look, we have to divide the times into two different
Of course, yeah.
basic times. There's a question of what was happening before the war, and there will be a question of what will be happening after our victory, and how we will interact with the government after our victory. But currently, it is my personal position, it is the position of our party, People's Power Party, that during this phase of the war, during this terrible Russian aggression and the active phase of the war, it is in no way acceptable to conduct any criticism of the supreme commander of the army, of the highest political and military command of Ukraine. Even if sometimes we see that some things are made perhaps not to the best as they can be done, even if we see mistakes sometimes, but we believe that currently public criticism is against the interests of the country, against the interests of the nation.
Yeah.
But I can say that if you're talking about, for example, the social economic policies of both this government and the previous government, the government of Petro Poroshenko, I can predict that unless something changes totally after our victory, we will probably still be in opposition after our victory, because we have a fundamentally different view of the way the economy should be run. We are for more social justice and more for economic justice for the people. This government and the past government are more for neoliberal economics. So we are different here. But now that there is a common, now that there's an enemy, the Russian Federation, which wants to destroy our state as such, obviously we cannot in any way deepen our divisions. We must unite, and we must do everything possible to get rid of the invaders. And then after that, we will decide amongst ourselves, among Ukrainians, in free and fair elections, in free and fair political debate, we will then decide how to run our own country.
And I know, Yuri, I know, Yuri, in the past, just quickly, I know that you've been opposed to giving up anything in the Donbas, even for the cause of peace. And, that's a matter of some debate. So given all that has happened over the last 50-some days of this war, what do you think should happen in the Donbas?
Well, I believe that actually my position in terms of it being absolutely a very bad idea to actually give up any lands in the Donbas or the Crimea over the past 8 years, which I have stood for, I think my position has been validated over the past 2 months, because it is clear that no amount of succession, no amount of backing down, no amount of discussions with Russians or negotiations with Russians will in any way stop their invasion, because their final aim is to conquer the whole of Ukraine, to subjugate the whole of Ukraine in one way or another, either militarily, economically, or politically. So any amount of giving into them actually feeds the bear. It gives them a bigger appetite, and they want to attack, and they want to take even more and more. So it is obvious, especially after these 2 months of the heroic fighting of our military, it is obvious that we have the ability to win this war. I think strategically we have already won. But if you're talking about getting rid of the Russian troops from all of our lands, this is also possible if we get the sufficient help from the collective West in terms of arms and in terms of financial help. And we should go down this road because this is the only way to secure peace for hundreds of years and not just for 1 or 2 years. This is a very important difference. What sort of peace are we talking about? Are we talking about ceasefire for half a year or 1 year and then it starts all over again when Russia wants to take over the whole of Ukraine? Yeah. Or are we talking about peace for 100 years for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren? So if you're talking about peace, the peace for 100 years, then we need to win this war. There is no other option.
All right, Yuri, you add so much perspective. It's really a pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.